Mighty Companions and fellow miracle workers. I'm Teresa McGallagher from the Miracles Tribe, coming on with my weekly Wednesday wisdom video for you about bad news and what's love got to do with it. What can we, as students of A Course in Miracles and spiritual seekers, do when we hear about bad news, read about bad news, and come up against bad news? Because that is the way of the world. We had a big tragedy in the United States yesterday in Texas. We had another tragedy last week in Buffalo, New York. There are always tragedies happening in this world. It is the way of the world. It is always something. If it's not one horrible thing, it's another horrible thing. And that is why A Course in Miracles says that the world I see offers nothing that I want. None of us want to be living in this world of horror, of tragedy, of sadness, of upset. That is not the way that God intended the world to be. That is not the way that we should intend the world to be. And your intention has so much power. So I thought it was important to come on this week and share with you what is your role, what is my role, what is mine to do when these upsetting things show up in our atmosphere, in our appearances. Because you can go put your head in the sand like an ostrich. You can go live in a cave in the Himalayas, and you will be able to remove yourself emotionally from all those kinds of upsets. But is that really a solution? Is that a practical, solution for signal problem? Hopefully you're still there with me. I was saying this is not a practical solution for the average American. So how can we navigate through these troubled times without getting sucked down and feeling like we're just constantly buffeted about by whatever is showing up in the media? Well, I made a conscious decision myself about 4 years ago to stop watching the news altogether. I used to think it was important to watch the news to be well informed, to help me make decisions. But now I go directly to my source when I need information, and I have found that I'm no less informed now than I ever was. And why is that? Because if there's something going on in the world, somebody will tell me about it. One of my friends, somebody in my family, or I'll read about it on Facebook, and I'll find out one way or another. So last night, I was having dinner with my mom, and we were watching Jeopardy, which is something we've always liked to do together. And the show got interrupted with bad news. So even if I hadn't already seen it on Facebook, I would have found out about it one way or another without actively pursuing going after the news, reading the newspaper, watching TV, and trying to keep up with what is going on out there in the external, illusory world. But back to my point, it's so important for us to guard our energy. So I consciously decided to stop watching the news to keep my energy high, to keep my vibration and my frequency high, because you can be of so much better service when you are coming from a place of joy and happiness than when you are coming from the suck hole. You don't have any power in the suck hole. When you are dragged down by the sad news or upsets in life, you can't function well, you can't think properly, you can't really be of help to other people. So, our mission, should we choose to accept it here, is to keep ourselves centered, keep ourselves aligned, keep ourselves feeling good as much as possible so that we truly can be helpful to others, so that we can be truly helpful. And yesterday in her Facebook Live, Carly talked about how she had gone to interact with a group of women from her former church community and how it upset her before she knew what happened. She left there feeling not great. And so this is our challenge, is to look at what we are doing where we are spending our time, who we are spending our time with, and then ask ourselves, is this lifting me up or dragging me down? Does it feel aligned? Does it feel good? Does it energetically feel like a great use of my time, attention, and energy? Or am I coming away from this feeling sad, feeling upset, feeling frustrated? Because that is not a point of power. When you're feeling sad and upset and frustrated, you can't think clearly. You can't think with God. You get caught up in egoic energies, and you are coming from a place of very low frequency and very little power. So, it's not frivolous to do things that are fun. It's not to be taken lightly. This is a powerful, powerful spiritual practice to look at the things that upset you and ask yourself, why do I continue to think about that? How can I help anybody else by feeling sad? Is that really helpful? How can I help anybody else by feeling angry or indignant about something? Is that really helpful? And if you're honest with yourself, you will realize that the answer is no. Because when we are in that energy of indignation, upset, frustration, anger, sadness, we're simply not effective. We simply can't do anything inspired. That is not a place that is open to receive inspired ideas. So the practice is to shift. How can I shift out of that? How can I look at how I'm feeling? How can I see, is it aligned with my higher self, with my highest self? And if it's not, what thought can I choose? What activity can I do? Even if that activity is just pausing and taking a deep breath to become centered again, to get back to my place of balance, of peace, of equilibrium. Because from that place, I can choose a positive thought. I can choose to focus on a blessing in my life. I can choose to put my attention and my energies onto something that is a higher frequency. And from that place, I can actively do something to help another person, or even if I don't take any action to help anyone, simply by raising your own frequency and your own vibration, you are healing everyone on the planet. Because there's only one mind here, and all minds are joined. So when one mind is healed, it helps to heal all of the minds. And this is very important, very valuable work. You being in a good mood is the highest service that you can render to society. Now, the ego thinks that's crazy. The ego is like, what? People are suffering. How can you just laugh about it and not take it seriously? But we all know from years of experience that the ego is not your amigo. The ego is not here to make life better for me or for you. The ego is here to keep us in a constant state of fear, of panic, of upset. That is what the ego is all about, making us feel like we have to struggle for survival and we have to have drama, constant drama. So, to reiterate, no matter what is happening in the world out there, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have compassion for people who are suffering, but what I am saying is, what is your compassion doing to help anybody? The most valuable thing that you can do is to thank your lucky stars for all the blessings in your life, for the fact that tragedies have not happened directly to you, for the fact that you are on Facebook watching this video, breathing clean, fresh air, with a roof over your head and food to eat, And that is so much more than so many people in this world have. And to focus on that, focus on the good, focus on the blessings, so that you can raise your frequency, so that you can stay in a place of high vibration, and that will spread like a ripple effect out into the world. A Course in Miracles says that you can never know the impact of what your thoughts and activities have had on people far, far away. And we're all connected spiritually and at this level of consciousness that we are not privy to. So, do whatever makes you happy. Choose a happy thought. Don't feel guilty for enjoying your life and for taking advantage of the blessings that you have and sharing where you can and when you can. But don't allow yourself to get pulled down into that suck hole of fretting and worrying about things over which you have no direct control. That's not beneficial, it's not helpful, and in fact, not only is it not productive, it's counterproductive, because now there's not only a tragedy happening somewhere else in the world, but there's a tragedy happening here in your own mind, in your own body, in your own home, where a day before things were fine. And that is not helpful, it's not beneficial. So I'm so glad you joined me today for this Facebook Live. Carly and I have created this Miracles Attraction community to support spiritual seekers, to help show you by example and by teaching how you can have miracles in your life. Carly does a Miracle Monday video every week on Monday. Every Tuesday we share some music, spiritually uplifting tunes. Wednesday I come on for this video that I'm doing right now, and we welcome our new members every week. And on Sunday we have a Silly Sunday cartoon to remind you to laugh. You've got to remember to laugh. It's the most important thing that you can do. Thanks a lot for joining me. Have a wonderful week. And I'm Teresa McGallagher, and I love you. Bye-bye.